We're calling the regular council meeting to order on December 14th at 7 p.m. in the City Council Chambers at 2434 Vermont Street, Blue Island, Illinois, 60406. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please do the roll.
Johnson.
Here.
Payroll.
Here.
Alderman Rita. Alderman Montoya.
Here.
Alderman McGee. Alderman Carr.
Here.
Alderman Roll.
For Alderman, we have a quorum. We'll just have to play it by ear on some of the votes. I'm expecting, oh, here we go. We got 5. Good. All right. We need a motion to approve the city council minutes from November 23rd, 2021 for the regular city council meeting. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Farnwell. Is there a second? Alderman Carr on the question. Alderman Farnwell.
All right, I would like to sincerely thank and congratulate whoever did these minutes. They're very good, and I appreciate the effort.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Aye, I'm sorry.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Motion carries. Public comment. Is there any public comment?
Good evening, Mayor Bellato, City Council. Here I am again, 2 weeks in a row. It's new record for me. I'm even glad I made it tonight. I spent much of today in the housing court waiting for my eviction case to be dismissed, which it was. Part of why I'm here tonight is to follow up with some of the things I brought up last week in regards to the tenant-landlord relationship here in Blue Island and some of the constructive things that we can do. But one of the things I thought of after sitting through housing court for so long today, a lot of people don't grasp. It's easy to say a community is unsafe because they've had 5 retail thefts, 2 car thefts, and the normal list we're all accustomed to. However, there are other ways of stealing from this community. For example, I know a property owner that ripped out over 2,000 feet of hedges, marched it across the street, no less, took it off his property, actually lined it up along another street and obstructed other cars for 3 days. Now, he did this at weeks after Public Works had already shut down. Public Works shuts down, at least for branches, at the beginning of October while still doing leaves, through the rest. So not only did he not leave it on his property, to me, he's illegally dumping, his stuff. To me, that's theft of resources. It made Public Works have to come out, right? And clean it up during a period when it wasn't scheduled to be done, thus taking away from the city getting something else fixed. Same thing on the idea. I saw another person actually sabotaging our sewer system is what I would label it. They actually, get this, was taking a lawnmower in the street, back and forth in the street, mowing the leaves so that they were so small that when this person pushed them to cover the sewer intentionally, what it did was it not only created a dam, but it began to displace the stormwater that the sewers are meant to catch, right? It's bad enough when the leaves cover it when they're big. When you start getting stuff falling into the sewer, surely you guys can understand that causes flooding to happen more. Those are thefts to a community, and those are not thefts that are recorded, and they're thefts that can be dealt with again in this property owner, renter tenant kind of relationship. So here's the thought that I had tonight. There was an awful lot of illegal lockouts going on that I heard today in court. And again, that ties up our police department. That's one of the few places where it steps away from the county sheriff, because in illegal lockouts, they're supposed to call the local police. I guess I'm a little bit worried because Governor Pritzker mentioned that there's going to be a new look at the building codes due to all the environmental changes and things like that. And we definitely have an aging housing stock here. So I think some of my concern is, as we move forward, is if people already don't care about keeping our community safe, how do we take these necessary changes that need to happen to help keep people honestly safe? Because a landlord who's renting illegally isn't keeping the community safe at all, kind of thing. The other thing I guess I would ask for consideration, and I know that was a little disconnected, please forgive me. I really need to beg, plead, demand, whichever word, I'll grab a thesaurus. You tell me. The city of Blue Island has to get so much better about getting actual property owners' names, and let alone landlords when there is a rental circumstance. So many of those cases today, mine included, include the question, quite frankly, I not only don't know who the property owner is, but quite frankly, I can't prove who the property manager is. I can't even prove who the landlord is. I can't do any of that. Part of it is because there's no inspection reports on file here with the city. So if the city could at least make an effort, the forms I did get, they were missing property owner names. And if you guys can figure out a way to make sure, here, property owner name, right? If there is a property manager, landlord, get their name too. You know, because then again, that helps even keep the police safe, because then the police can check the records. If there is an illegal lockout, they can see who the authorized person should be, you know, and thus entering the circumstance in a way to help maybe keep it an even keel. And the reason I keep bringing the police into this is because on my closing note, I have a clause from my lease that I want to read out loud because it struck someone quite severely, a little bit more than me, and I guess you guys need to hear it first. The clause says it is further understood and agreed that the leasing shall not take any action which will result in a disturbance to the neighborhood. That makes sense. I think anybody could agree with that. Or a call to the police department to remedy any public nuisance on or about this property. Any of the aforesaid shall be reason to cause termination of this lease within 10 days after the event. I gotta tell you, when it comes to intimidation, you know, fear, all those types of things, I don't fear pornographic material being released on the internet with my name on it. I fear the eviction notice that now has my name on it. And it's irrelevant that it was dismissed tonight. Why? The algorithms don't care, ladies and gentlemen. They don't. So even though mine was dismissed, I now have eviction on me, and I'll still be leaving soon. But that clause is in the lease for someone that at least thought they were living legally here in Blue Island. And I'm doing my best to keep separate. I love this community. I've had so much fun here. I don't want to lose that. So I hope you accept my comments tonight, and I appreciate just the opportunity to stand before you and say anything at all. So thank you very much, all of you.
Next, we have swearing in the City of Blue Island Police Officer, Jayla Cole Clark. Where do I do it, Chief? Okay. Wow. All right, so raise your right hand. I, Jayla Cole Clark,
I, Joe Colbert,
having been appointed to the office of police officer
having been appointed to the office of police officer
in the city of Blue Island,
in the city of Blue Island,
County of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. If you want to get up, take a better picture.
Especially of him sticking her, right?
Chief of Mayor.
Oh.
You're in.
Say please don't do that.
Say freeze.
I just want to say thank you. Being a police officer has always been a dream of mine. And I just felt that Blue Island would be the perfect place for me to live out those dreams. I am extremely excited to start my journey here at the department. So thank you all.
Thank you.
All right.
Unless you guys want to stick around and watch government, how it works, I'll give you guys a minute if you wanted to recess, or you're gonna stick around.
Congratulations.
Oh, wow. Next, we have under item B, motion for approval of payroll for November 26, 2021, for the amount of $332,158.73. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Rita, second by Alderman Fairwell. On the question. Now please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya. Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr. Six ayes, Your Honor.
All right, next we have a motion for approval of payroll for December 10th for the amount of $372,517.25. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Rita, second by Alderman Fairwell. On the question. Not clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Next, we have a motion for approval of accounts payable for $600,652.16. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman Carr. On the question. Do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Next, we have ordinance levying taxes in the city of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2022, and ending December 31st, 2022. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Carr, second by Alderman McGee. On the question. Madam Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell.
Aye.
Alderman Rita.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Under Mayor's report, me, the clerk, and the treasurer we purchased some pastries from Mezzocordia and butter upon bacon out of the Rock Island Public House. So Gina and Jerry made some, I forgot the name, and I'm Italian, I should know, some kind of Italian crown pastry that's in there, looks like a wreath. And the clerk was able to get cookies and brownies from Mezzocordia, which is a tradition actually for 20-some years of the previous administration, and we wanted to continue that. So, and for the ones that aren't here, we'll get it to them.
You don't have to.
Thank you.
And for my comments, I'm going to keep it as brief as possible. I had many meetings with Western Avenue Bridge Phase 1, which is coming to a close. There's some odds and ends they still need to do. But me and our Superintendent of Public Works, Jim Polster, met with them multiple occasions. We were able to get additional lighting, additional pavement, get them to repair and repave a section of Canal Street because they damaged it with cranes. Additional landscaping that's coming in the spring for no additional cost to the city. And they're going to come back in the spring with Phase 2, which includes painting of the bridge.
Good.
So, and then we'll ask for a bunch more free stuff then too.
Good job, man.
You know, so we're working on that. And I was caught in the action by a couple constituents when we're out there arguing with the, it's Deacons, I think, I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but it's a company that IDOT's hired to do a lot of the work. And the guy felt sorry for us after a while. You know, he's like, there's crane scratches on our street. We just did the street 2 years ago. We've got to repave the street. So they did like half a block of Canal Street. They repaved, they weren't gonna do. And But they're like, oh, their mayor comes out and yells at us like this. I live down here on the street. I was, as an alderman, very proud of the street getting paved. So they were able to do that, and they tossed in a bunch of other stuff too. And they also put gravel underneath the entire bridge for any overflow parking for hopefully if we bring back some customers down. I met with Burke today. Metro reached out to us. They plan on remodeling the 123rd Flag Street station, I believe in the 5th ward, possibly on the border between both. They asked us and are trying to get us to repave that section of 123rd from Vincennes to the train station because it's pretty bad. So east, it's like about a block or so. And I said, we'll repave it if you pay for some of it. So they said, we will look into it, get us some prices. So I met with Burke out there and they're going to look into it. And while I had him out and trapped inside of a police car today, we took him to the worst streets in every single ward. So we hit up streets in the northeast corner. We hit up streets, New Street, New York Street over here, west of Maple. We hit up Fairview and 122nd by the water tower. We hit up 135th down by Robbins there. So we did like a whole circle real quick around town, and he could not believe. I mean, he believed it. I was telling him the streets are bad, and he said they're bad. They're real bad. And I said that's like 40% of our town. So just to make it a come to Jesus moment for our engineers, and by doing that, he's putting together a plan for 2022 through 2027 of a street redevelopment plan, and roughly we gave him estimates of what we think will be in the appropriation for next year, so they can start the wheels in motion. Side note, their surveyors are already out in Northwestern. I saw them yesterday for the streetscaping, so that's moving. Hopefully, we'll be having bid documents very soon from Hitchcock. He said probably late January, early February for that project. So again, things are in motion, and hopefully we have some updates on what projects we can attack in next year's appropriations very soon. The police department and fire department roof, combined roof for the entire fire department and the police department garage, we ran into an issue. ComEd's going to have to depower the major lines that power this entire neighborhood that are on the building basically for safety reasons. Now, that's not an easy task because there's 23 addresses that will be without power for several hours while they do a massive amount of work as quickly as possible. ComEd has to be part of this process. They're the ones that notify the residents and their customers. So it's put kind of like a small halt on that project, but hopefully I have more data for you soon. And that's when you're working with a legitimate company, because it's another company would just do it and then someone gets electrocuted, we're liable. So they're working with ComEd now, and hopefully because of this tornado stuff, they were hoping to get something done within the next week or so. Now ComEd sent their crews elsewhere. So we'll keep you updated on that. That's why you haven't seen a crane put any new roofing materials on here. They had to stop it. And I didn't realize until I went up there with our Bob, our building commissioner, the lines are right there. Go behind there. There's big power lines behind there. They're supposed to wrap them and turn them off to do that. Fire museum is moving forward. Burke Engineering has the plans from the architect. The fire committee has met. So that's back up and running for hopefully we have basically a real nice garage for Old Bess. And I already asked the committee and the historical society to make sure Old Bess is at next year's festivities, because it does run. They just got to get it tuned up and out for the public, and it's a way for them to raise more money to get it built. Rock Around the Clock is this New Year's Eve. We're going to close the street down from 11:30 to 12:30. Hopefully the clock is operational. I know they took the hands down and they removed the mechanization inside there in conjunction with the owner of Ravens in the Vault. Hopefully we have a clock that actually will go to midnight. If not, we're still going to do the ball drop. The clerk and the fire department and the building department are working on a new ball, blue ball.
Almost done, almost done.
So we can have that. And finally, this is our last meeting of this year. And I'd like to take a minute to reflect on what has been one of the more transformative years of the city's history, and at least as an alderman for me. A lot has happened this past year. We changed our form of city council. We had a spirited and hard-fought election. We elected a new council and new city office holders and installed a new administrative team. And coming out of the previous 4 years, there was a lot of concern in the public. And I think among several people in this room that we would be able to put aside past differences and work together for the betterment of our city. While we are a long way from perfect and there is a lot of work to still be done, I think we've done a pretty good job at coming together to do what's best for Blue Island. I want to sincerely thank each alderman, city clerk, and city treasurer, and all our city staff for the work you've done day in and day out to make the city a better place. I'm proud to work with each one of you, and I'm looking forward to a more productive and a better year in 2022. So on behalf of the city, I wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. Thank you. Next, we have city clerk's announcements.
Thank you very much. Saturday, 12 to 4, there's a coat drive at a Christmas dinner at the rec center. Dexter, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, thank you, City Clerk. It starts at noon And we're actually not only giving out food for people to take home, but also cook food if they're hungry. And this is to anybody that's, in need or going through. They also have brand new coats for not only the children, but for adults as well. And everything is free. And this is just giving back. I think this is what we should do as a city. And if we can get any volunteers to help down there to give out the coats or even giving out and making bags as a tradition we did with Blue Island Strong, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Also, we're doing rec around the clock. And we're gonna be testing it this week to make sure everything works. City Hall will be closed on Thursday, December 23rd, and Friday, December 24th, and Saturday, 25th. I'd like to wish a special birthday to Chief Barr. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Also trying to, right after the holiday, I'm trying to get together a Black History committee. So if you know anyone that would be great on this committee, please let me know, because I'm having a hard time getting people to get involved. Other than that, happy holidays.
Thank you. Next, we have Treasury Report. The treasurer will come on in our executive session to inform you of some things. But in the meantime, we need our approval for a Treasury Report. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Farnwell. Is there a second? Alderman Rita on the question. Madam Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson,
No.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Rita,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Motion carries. The treasurer announcements will be in the executive FaceTime. Under city attorney, we have an ordinance. These are the same ones that came out of our committee meeting. An ordinance for the city of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, granting a special use permit for Alicia Battle to operate Perfect Reflections Daycare LLC located at 12128 Southwestern Avenue. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Farnwell, second by Alderman Carr on the question. Madam Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Rita,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
6 ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Next, we have an ordinance, for the city of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, granting a special use permit for Stephen Bannis to operate a Chicagoland diesel sales at 13816 Harris Avenue. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Farnwell, seconded by Alderman Johnson. On the question? On the question, Alderman Johnson.
Yes, sir. If we can, for future reference, anything that's going on in my ward, can I be alerted of it or aware of it? Maybe even go down and greet the people and get to know them as well.
Shouldn't be an issue with, just like we do for other things. I think they're already there, Alderman, correct? You'd know more than all of us. They're just expanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Madam Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Rita,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
6 ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Next, we have an ordinance, the city of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, amending the city zoning map to expand the uptown transit-oriented district. This concerns of the properties on Vermont Street. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Rita, second by Alderman Farnwell on the question. Madam Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Rita,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
6 ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. D is just a typo. It repeated itself on the agenda, so we're going to skip over that. It's exactly the same as C. E is ordinance for the city of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, amending the city zoning code to add definitions and designations as permitted or special uses in existing zoning districts. These are the changes Howard recommended. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Rita, seconded by Alderman Johnson on the question. Madam Clerk, please do the roll.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Rita,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Carr.
Aye.
6 ayes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance for the city of Blue Island, Cook County, Illinois, amending the Title 7 of the city code by adding Chapter 75, overweight and oversized vehicles. Is there a motion? Alderman
Yes.
Johnson. Alderman Carr is a second on the question. Alderman Rita.
Yes, I was wondering, how is this going to be implemented? How and where? I didn't,
So, the chief mentioned a few things in committee. If you want to come up and briefly discuss the training, we have an officer designated.
I know that you mentioned at the committee of the whole that we were gonna have an officer in training, but I just wasn't sure like where it was gonna take place or how
Yeah, Alderman Rita, Officer Jeremy Rhodes, our truck enforcement officer, he's gonna come up and talk to you about it. He's gonna be the one doing the day-to-day operation. So he'll be able to give you better insight of where he's going to be and what type of activity he's gonna be conducting. Give him 1 second. So this is Officer Rhodes coming up.
Okay, thanks.
That's a nice name.
Thank you.
4 Hour Roads.
All right, so obviously this is new. It's a great opportunity for the city. There are certain areas that we are going to be targeting, hoping for the big overweights that lead to obviously big fines. Do you want to know the areas or what specifically do you want to know?
Just a basic, I do know that the Division Street Bridge was one of them that they were that we were all concerned about, but
Okay.
I just wasn't sure. You know, you read the ordinance, it's a lot of legal jargon, and
Right.
I was just trying to get through it and
Okay.
just to understand a little bit better, that's all.
So basically, you have a truck and they're permitted to carry a certain amount of weight. And they have to keep a certain amount of weight on the axles and then their gross weight, so their total weight. So if they have a 53-foot box truck or a semi and their load is towards the front, all their weight's in the front, that's gonna be where they're overweight at. So they may be underneath the 80,000 pounds that they're allowed, but they're gonna be overweight on the axle, which leads to hundreds, if not $1,000s of fines.
And then they would have to go get weighed.
So yeah, we take them to a weigh station. We're gonna be using 138th and Ashland, Tri-State Disposal, and then the Pilot gas station on 127th and Kennedy.
Okay.
So then, yeah, I'll pull them over, they get pulled over, they have to provide their registration or their cab card that shows, one, they're even allowed to be traveling in Illinois. So,
Okay.
and the portion plate is they have to pay the state. They have to say, I'm gonna be working in Illinois for 20% of the year. And then they pay a portion of their registration goes to IDOT for the roads. So then, they have to provide that, and if they have that, and I have other clues that they may be overweight, usually they're supposed to have a weight ticket. So if they go to a site, they get loaded, they're supposed to weigh before they leave. If they don't weigh, they don't know how much they weigh. And I have clues to show that they may be overweight, they have to submit to being weighed.
Okay, and then the overweight tickets, would they come here to our local?
No,
They go to
So those are-
Markham, right?
those are gonna be state tickets, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then, my understanding is, we end up getting about half of what the fine is.
Okay, all right, thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of spoke to it already. I was gonna say, how discernible are the classes for the other officers as well that may pull an overweight truck over? They would have to take them to the weigh station, correct?
Right.
That's it, okay.
That's, yeah. I mean, there's clues to see whether or not they're overweight.
Mm.
Tires bulging, going over railroad tracks is a big one. If they're empty, the truck bounces. If they're full, the truck stays at the ground. So then you don't need probable cause like you do for normal traffic stops.
Mm.
You just need reason to believe that they're overweight.
Is that something maybe, as you become more of an expert in this, in this particular field, that you could share with the other officers in some form or
Absolutely.
fashion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot in the class, but once it's broken down, it's quite simple.
Okay.
It's a lot of measuring, because trucks it's based off their GVWR, which is the government vehicle weight rating. So that truck is only allowed to carry a certain amount of weight. And then they obviously pay for registration. So if the truck can weigh or can carry 50,000 pounds, and they can spend however much they want on registration, they can get an 80,000 pound plate, but they can't carry 80,000 pounds because the government weight rating says they can only carry 50,000. And as soon as they're over that, that's when the fines start kicking in.
Okay.
And then I know you asked a question about truck classes compared to the axles.
Yes.
You do it by axles because they may be under their gross weight, but if they have their load shifted to the front or back, then they can still be overweight on that axle. So it opens up for more opportunity of the fines.
Got it.
All right, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got one question.
Alderman Johnson.
Did any of the metal recyclers in Blue Island even offer their services, their skills to us?
So I actually was brought to Tri-State Disposal,
Mhm.
and he knows somebody from the department, and then he's allowed us to use the scale.
Mhm.
And then I went to Pilot, and they let whoever, other towns use the
Right,
scale,
right.
no charge. I haven't gone to any recycling places yet. The targeted areas right now are gonna be towards the two we have. Like Tri-State Disposal, for example, they are that's where when a dump truck's full, they go there.
Right.
It's a transfer station and they dump out.
Right.
So if we're in that area and there's a truck coming and you see the tires bulging, you have probable overweight. They're already going to Tri-State Disposal. So we go with them, weigh them, if they're overweight. They get fined.
Oh, okay.
Because my thing is that because of where my ward is at, part of my ward, it's a lot of trains down there.
Okay.
And a lot of the trucks come through the neighborhoods and those streets are not weighted for them.
Correct.
And so that's why I asked, because the recycle companies is, they're
They're
close.
Right. The
In
problem
proximity.
with, so if you have I'll use 123rd in Western, for example. From Western, if you go west, it's a 10-ton weight limit. If you go east towards Vincennes, it's 5 tons.
Mhm.
If a 80,000-pound truck goes either way, they're obviously overweight.
Mhm.
But they're violating, it's a traffic control device. So
Right.
all that is a $164 ticket. So they want to do a shortcut and I see them, I can write them the ticket. If I have no other clues that they're overweight, then they just get a $164 ticket. But if there's other clues to it, then I bring them to the weigh station, weigh them and see if they're overweight or not. So that's,
I'm just trying to get them to stop tearing up our streets with
Absolutely.
trucks, especially when you're talking about rolling over a residential sewer with something that's 50 to 80,000 pounds.
Mhm. Vermont Street too.
Mhm.
see and then that's another thing that I just recently learned. So there was an overweight truck that came through town and I stopped him to talk to him to kind of, get the lingo and learn some things from him. He was 172,000 pounds. He had a permit through the state. Part of 119th Street, all of 127, Western, and Broadway and Vermont are all state streets. So he had his correct permits, and they're state streets, so obviously they're letting whoever pays for the permit, they're allowed to travel down and wreck the road because the permit money is supposed to go to the roads, which I don't know. A $25 permit, and he tears it up half a block, is that?
Not everybody's gonna have those permits, so you got lucky. Or he got lucky.
Absolutely.
Alderman Fairwell.
Yeah, just clarification on that example you cited at 123rd and Western. So if an 80,000-pound truck goes down either of those roads, they're clearly overweight, right?
So if it's a 53-foot semi and he has it's a Z plate,
Uh-huh.
which is the max amount of weight that you can carry in the state of Illinois, it's 80,000 pounds.
Right.
If he goes down 123rd and I pull him over, obviously he violated the sign. So there's my probable cause for that stop. And he has a weight ticket and it says he's 83,000 pounds. Well, he's overweight. So I take him to the scale, see
Right.
where he's overweight. And then there's a certain formula that's used to determine how much the fine is.
Okay.
So that's,
So you can't get him on the weight.
I can't get him on the weight unless
He's over.
I have reason to believe that he is overweight.
So let me just understand, because it's obviously a legal issue. I've just kind of wrapped my head around it. So he's 80,000 pounds, which is obviously way over 10 tons.
Yep.
He's on a street that's marked 10 tons only. So he goes through the sign, that's illegal, right? That's the law. He's right.
$164.
But then we don't have the capability of saying, well, yeah, but you're also, tons and tons overweight, and we're going to fine you for that.
I'd have to bring him to the scale.
Right, I understand.
Yeah, I can do that.
And if he's carrying just 80,000 pounds, he's still overweight, right? Because it's a 10-ton.
Not if he has the correct registration.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
As long as,
A lot to this.
and that's what a lot of the trucks do is, a truck's allowed to carry, like I said, the government vehicle weight rated.
Yeah.
They're, they can buy a plate for 80,000 pounds, but it's gonna cost them $2,300 for the year. They can't carry 80,000 pounds. So they can pay the extra money if they want, but they're just giving it away, but they can't carry that.
Got it.
And then some people, even junkers, he was mentioning.
Right.
Junkers, they have trailers. If they don't have a plate, that's illegal. That's more money, that's more fines.
Because the reason why I asked about the recyclers is because how they make money is having a truck full.
Right.
And a lot of times it is. I was mentioning to the mayor before about the railroad tracks. The train actually runs on the rails, but between there is the asphalt.
Yep.
And when overweight trucks is what makes the asphalt sink and things of that nature.
One way to start going after it.
Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, we'll roll.
Does Public Works also get scale?
It's not working.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Alderman Johnson,
Yes.
Alderman Fairwell,
I'm sorry.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman Rita,
I,
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Carr,
I,
6 ayes.
City Administrator
Thank you.
announcements, reports, or comments.
Thank you.
I'm Morgan, City Administrator. I'll be brief. So as the city clerk mentioned, City Hall will be closed December 23rd and 24th for the Christmas holiday. We'll also be closed on New Year's Eve, December 31st. All establishments that serve liquor are getting their renewal notices this week. They went out earlier this week if they haven't already received them. I did want to point out and thank Mark Pataska and Deputy Clerk Rain Alvarado for putting in some late nights to make sure that those went out this week. They do have different classifications on them as we pass through this council. I said that only to say some of these establishments are going to be in your wards and you might have some, a little bit of confusion because it is a new system. It hasn't been changed in a long time. So we would just encourage you to utilize myself and especially Mr. Pataska in terms of helping to answer those questions for if you have constituent businesses in your ward. Just wanted to briefly point out that it has been an issue in the past and a concern in the past predating this council by several years about the golf course as it relates to their water bill. So there's been some kind of back and forth about that. We kind of had we started on a pathway of getting that balance down. They are, both city general fund related balances, but for good accounting and best practices purposes, it was necessary to get that bill down. Though they have gotten the golf course water bill down to zero, so they are finally paid up in terms of getting the ledger right. And just a brief update: our COVID implementation continues along. It's getting better every week. It's still not perfect, but it's getting better. It has shown also we've had some upticks in vaccinated employees since we've started it, so that's encouraging. And I just wanted, as we move into the new year, since this is our last meeting, we will be starting contract negotiations with all three of our collective bargaining units, starting pretty early, right out of the gate in the new year. So we'll be, communicating those back to the council as we go there. It's a fairly time-consuming exercise. You should expect it to take at minimum 3 months, probably longer. In some cases, there's a lot of stuff on the table, and this is a very unique year for the back and forth between administration and labor for obvious reasons. There's a lot of issues we never would have dreamed of talking about a few years ago, right? So that process will be started. We'll be communicating back to the council, but if there's specific comments, concerns, thoughts that individual aldermen have about what they want to see out of the next contract for any or all of these three bargaining units, I would definitely encourage you to communicate that either to myself or to city attorney Aaron Blake. That's all I have, unless there's any questions.
I'm sorry, what were the three bargaining units? Did you?
Police, fire, and public works.
Everybody that's union in the city's contracts are all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's kind of good.
Yes and no. They all talk, so you have to do them all at the same time. Anything else? Now, we'll move on to aldermanic announcements, reports, and comments. Alderman Reed.
I just wanted to say thank you very much for everybody who gave for the cereal drive for Angels Touch. I don't want to start naming names because I know I'm going to forget, but of course, the mayor's office, the clerk's office, Blue Island Police Department, Bob Reed, oh, now I am naming them. The Bob Rita, Calumet Township, and Eisenhower High School, and of course, all my friends and family and all of you that I hounded for weeks, but it was just a beautiful turnout, and it was very touching, and I really appreciate it. And so do the families who are going to be getting food. So thank you so much. And also, of course, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody, and thanks again.
Thank you. Alderman Fairwell?
I'd just like to announce, really, this is just for residents of the fourth ward, although others may be interested. We have successfully gotten a fourth ward neighborhood watch program started, thanks to our fine police department, and lots of cooperation there. And also Marie Mindeman has stepped up to be the captain of the group, and she's got some great ideas. I'm very happy that she's been willing to do that. She's certainly a great person to do it. We're looking for involvement from as many fourth ward residents as possible. You don't have to really, you can just show up and hear what's going on, or you can get involved in helping with the group. And Alderman McGee has been helpful in kind of giving us some good ideas from the experience in the fifth ward, so appreciate that. And we are meeting, the group is meeting the second Wednesday of each month, which means the next one will be on January 12th. It's here at the police station, and everybody in the fourth ward is welcome to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other Alderman comments? Alderman Johnson?
Yes, Chief. Former Alderman Jackson, his wife passed away. They actually buried her Friday. I didn't know if anybody knew about it. And then Water Department, Public Works, Marshall Bryant, he retired. His brother also passed away, Russell Bryant, about 2 days ago. Know the family and wanted to reach out to them guys.
Thank you.
Oh, and I gotta give the Public Works because there's some stop signs. I guess they missing Deer Point area.
Gotta have those collected.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna talk to them about it.
Thank you. Any other Alderman comments, concerns? We do have an executive session. We need a motion to executive session. Alderman Rita, second by Alderman Johnson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All we're doing is reviewing some minutes.
just as good.
Need a motion to reconvene? Motion by Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman Carr, all in favor, say aye. In executive session, we discussed approving, reviewing past executive session minutes and a property damage claim. We need a motion now to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Fairwell, Alderman Rita, second, all in favor, say